What's up, folks? How's it going? Coming to you slightly late, but you're going to get your answers. So let's get to them right now. Alright, got some spam. What's this spam? Alright, first question. What do you disagree on with George Carlin? What do you disagree with George Carlin on? I think that George Carlin believed that society is fucked beyond repair, and I don't think that that's true. Um, you know, so that's pretty much what I would say. Nice cam. I never knew you had such nice eyes. That's very nice of you, person that I can't really pronounce your name. Zedvids. Thank you. If your goal in life was to kill as many people as possible, how would you go about achieving that goal? I would create some sort of crazy political movement like communism or something that get like 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, you know, become a Nazi. Start something like that. Do you think the word pedophile is being overused these days? It seems like it is being used for anyone who finds someone under the age of 18 attractive, i.e. a 19-year-old going out with a 17-year-old. Well, first of all, there's two parts to this question. All right, the first part is pedophile, and of course, pedophile is a term for somebody that has a mental disorder. At least that's how it's characterized. You could just consider them sick fucks, whatever it is. People that are attracted to prepubescent children. There's other words for people that get with younger girls, but see, but this is your question. It says it seems it is being used for anyone who finds someone under the age of 18 attractive, i.e. a 19-year-old going out with a 17-year-old. Going out with a person is totally different than finding them attractive. You know, a 16-year-old girl can be really fucking hot, but you can't have sex with her. You shouldn't even bother trying. You know, I don't really have a problem with a 19-year-old going out with a 17-year-old, and you know, in certain situations, nobody would really care. But I don't think anybody considers a 19-year-old going out with a 17-year-old to be a pedophile. I think that would be a little bit too far. Is there such a thing as internet speak, i.e. replacing RNU with RNU, or is this just laziness? Both. Both of those things. What do you think of Varia Blast's, a YouTuber's mission to change the definition of nigger to mean human? I've heard the name Varia Blast or whatever. I don't know anything about their videos. I confess to having a very limited number of subscriptions that I actually watch. So oftentimes I don't know these people. But you can't change the definition of nigger to mean human. That's retarded. It doesn't even make any sense. That's even more retarded than trying to ban the word entirely. Everybody knows what nigger means, okay? Black people know what it means. White people know what it means. Black people use it. White people use it. And sometimes they mean the same thing. You know, black people use nigger is a less pejorative term sometimes, but they can turn it into something bad. It just depends on whether the guy is their friend or not. That's retarded. I don't know. That's retarded. It's fucking freezing. It's so cold in Michigan that I'm going to die. I just came from up north, and it was too cold on the four-wheelers. It is too cold in Michigan, but it's all right. What is your opinion of the American justice system, justice in quotations, and why do you think that it is known that it is no one in either party is speaking up about how cruel our justice system is? The thing about the American justice system is that in some ways it really works because they put people in prison for crimes that they commit. The problem is that some of these crimes that people are put into prison for shouldn't be crimes in the first place. You see, um, you know, I go out and get arrested with weed. Does it suck dicks that I get, that fucks up my life? Yeah, but I did commit a crime. So the problem might be uh, the issue of crime. There. I don't have the answer on the justice system. I mean, the rules, if they're applied, would seem to work, but people bend rules. I think the problem with the American justice system is that there's people in it. Um, but on the whole, is it more cruel than other people's? Not really. Um, is it more? Is it other people that have better justice? Yes, but there are definitely people that have worse. Do you know about the whole deathcore sucks feud and death metalers? And if so, what's your take? I don't know exactly what that is. I've spoken on metal before. I don't like the new thing with the slam dancing bullshit and these little kids flailing their fists around. It sickens me. Um, but if metal is metal, I got no. I try not to hate on genres of things that I like. If you like metal, there's no reason to be like, oh, I don't like deathcore, but I like metalcore. It's retarded. Um, how do you feel about ICP and yourself having roots in the same state city? Would you ever go to the gathering? I heard some ICP shit. I mean, there's lots of internet jokes on ICP. I don't really know a lot about them. Not been particularly impressed. I don't even know if they're from the same city. Eminem seems to be pretty insistent that they are not. Um, would I go to the gathering? I don't think so, bro. I just can't. I got nothing against ICP in particular, but some of the people that I've known that have been, ICP kids, they're okay, but I don't know if I want to be around thousands of them at the same time. What do you think of sports programs in public schools? They aren't exactly a controversial topic, but I always thought a public school's main purpose should be to educate the populace. Any taxpayer money spent on sports and PE, not health class, which teaches important information, would be better spent on improving real education. Also, what do you think of high schools requiring community service hours for a diploma, something that has nothing to do with education? That's a couple of points on here. Now, I think you have to split up sports and PE because I think that gym class is important. I wish that I had had the hours for it because I enjoyed the gym class that you were required to take, and I lost some weight when I did that. But I just didn't have enough hour. I wish that I had another fucking hour. If I had gym class every day in school for 4 years, I'm pretty sure it would have been better for me in the long run because it's clear that physical health affects just your general overall ability and performance and fucking what you can do in school, shit like that. Um, does a school necessarily need $1 million football field? I don't know. But this is another one of these problems where it's like, well, they're not funding something correctly. Well, that's not true. I just don't think that they're using the money well. I don't think they're teaching people the right things. I don't think they're teaching them in the right way. So the question isn't what things should we cut and, or we don't have enough money to make this. It's ridiculous. It can be worked around. I think you could have sports and all that other shit at the same time. Same guy that asks ICP questions says, do you notice and recognize miracles? It's all around you. You don't even know it. Shit's crazy. I don't even know how to answer this question. Magnets. I don't even. Is it gay if you have sex with a male to female transsexual? Also, do you think JFK is overrated? Yeah, it is gay because you don't become a woman because you tell people that you're a woman all of a sudden and you had some surgery. That's just not reality. Um, if you're gonna be gay, that's cool. You should just be gay, man. You're not a woman trapped in a man's body, or I don't even. Also, do you think JFK is overrated? Uh, in some ways, yes. In some ways, not. He wasn't a perfect person. Clearly, um, you know, he handled certain things well. He handled the Cuban Missile Crisis well. He got us involved in Vietnam, but really that was a continuation of a previous policy. But still, I consider JFK somewhere in the middle. So if they say that he's the greatest ever, then yes, he's overrated. But he's not terrible, and he's not amazing. What do you think about private banking and the Rothschild family? I don't give a shit about any families. I'd be more worried about them if they were like the Gambino family or some shit. That's something I'm more concerned about than the Rothschild family. Private banking. Do whatever the fuck you want, man. I don't give a shit. Bank privately, publicly, I don't care. If you're gonna have banks, you might as well just just go all out on it. Also, I'm skipping questions that I've answered like 1,000 times. It's nothing personal, but I just can't even do it. What are your views on the Holy Roman Empire and the Teutonic Order? I think those guys are true old school Christians, slaughtered a bunch of Baltic pagans and Muslims, not like these pussy corporate Mickey Mouse Christians you see nowadays. Well, it's a difference in tactics for the same overall goal, which is power. Back then they didn't have TV to convince you, so they had to come over and kill you or threaten to kill you to get you to change your mind. What do I think of the Holy Roman Empire? I think it's it's a first example of a new empire in the West after Rome. I feel I have the I have the eagle of the Holy Roman Empire on my arm, but it's also because I'm German. They always think it's the Albanian eagle. They're like, "You Albanian?" And I'm like, "No." What's your view on the media? I know this is a broad question, but specifically I'm looking for your views on bias and the division of the country by the media. Do you feel it is brainwashing people in any way? Do you feel people are too stupid to understand what's going on? Is it brainwashing people? Yes, but only because people are too stupid to understand what's going on. I mean, is the bias a problem for somebody who's informed? Not really, because it's easy to pick out when somebody is clearly being an asshole. And of course the media is, they say the media is dividing the country. I mean, they're appealing to interest groups. Fox has its interest groups, and CNN has its interest groups, and NBC and all that shit. And it's in their interest to be assholes because it gets people to watch TV. A lot of it is show business, and that is, bad when you're trying to translate information to people. The answer, as it is on so many things, is education and teaching people to, recognize when something is bullshit or when they should go find out more information. It's all out there. You just have to find it. Do you think history can help us in the present? Yes. Also, do you think history classes will be different 1,000 years from now? I ask because it seems like in a field like history, as time goes on, there will be a point where the past eventually contained more information that is plausible to make standardized learning in history classes. LOL. I mean, they already do that. I mean, they skip some shit. But I mean, if that's what you do is history, you can learn a whole lot of stuff. You know, when you go to school to become a historian, you usually specialize in one thing. It'd be more difficult, but it won't be that big of a deal. You know, they skip over shit. Like it's like when you go to school and, you know, in social studies class they do, you know, 1 year it's all about America, and the first, you know, they cover when the settlers first come to America or when they first discover it, and that lasts for like 30 pages, but then everything else is all more detailed as you go on. That's just the same thing that's going to happen. But yes, history, of course, history, understanding history can help us in the present. History is the only thing that we can use as a benchmark for, you know, for anything that we're doing. It's the facts, it's the data. You know, it's not as scientific because we're dealing with people, but it's still the only data we really have to go on what, you know, how people are going to act. I'm going to assume you would not consider yourself by any means a moral relativist. What do you think the weaknesses are of that position, and what are your thoughts on morals within a community? You know, I don't understand why people have to get so complicated with the morals. It's incredibly simple. My position on morals is this, and it really is the golden rule. You know, but I think it's a natural golden rule. Don't do things that you don't want other people to do to you because it's bad for you. You know, when you take people's shit, it encourages other people to take your shit, and then you don't live as well, and you're not doing as well as an organism, as a person, or whatever, and your purpose is, you know, you're not doing well. All right, don't kill people. If you don't have to, they come and kill you. Don't do shit like that. People, it's not that complicated. People take morals and all these problems, you know, just don't do anything you wouldn't want to fucking have done to you. You know? Don't be a hypocrite. That's pretty much all there is. You know, if the Bible contained just that, I would go to church every Sunday. Do you think animal rights activists who is not a vegan and who enjoys eating meat is being inconsistent with their philosophy? I mean, what kind of animal rights activists? I mean, some people that call themselves animal rights activists are the kind of people that, you know, don't want them killing all the cute polar bears, and I guess I can dig that if they're not going, you know, if they're going extinct or whatever. Are you the kind of person that, you know, doesn't like factory farming or whatever? I mean, there's so many different fucking positions that you can take on that. You know, at the end of the day, the answer is that, you know, animals don't actually have rights because they're not. They don't even understand what that means. And they're animals, man. We should try not to kill them all. I mean, we shouldn't hurt things unnecessarily, but I mean, you're being inconsistent with your philosophy because to be a vegan in and of itself is being inconsistent with being a person, because you can't just eat fucking carrots. You're not supposed to do that, alright? There's a reason why people hunted animals and shit. Do whatever you want, man. Individualism and patriotism, are they mutually exclusive? Please explain your answer as well. Of course they're not mutually exclusive. I mean, that's like saying you can't be a member of any group without being an individual. I mean, of course you're still an individual. You know, you know, I was a Boy Scout. I'm still me. You know, I'm still a fucking individual. You know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with patriotism, and there's nothing wrong with nationalism, and everyone fucking, you know, people don't like to hear that. But at the end of the day, the people that are most likely to be like you and most likely to want the things that you want are the people that live near you or around you or have similar lifestyles to you and are similar to you. Therefore, they're least likely to fucking kill you, and they're the ones that you need to get together to fight off the other people on the other side of the mountain that don't think the same way. Sometimes it's just got to be that way. It's fine. And especially if you live in a country that's not a complete shithole, there's nothing wrong with, you know, people, attack pride in the country. You shouldn't have blind pride in anything for no reason, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with, being a productive fucking citizen, participating and having, pride and participating in the process. That's what I think. Chris, what do you think about people who think there should be laws, or if there is laws for cruelty for animals, specifically dogs, for keeping them as an outside dog only? Because the dog, basically the dog has its own house, gets adequate food and water, gets its shots, but is not allowed to go inside the house, gets daily water and plays. The argument is that these owners are considered animal cruelty because the dog can get harmed by wild animals, high risk for fleas and ticks, and diseases carried by birds. I think that that's fucking retarded. It sickens me how retarded that is. Dogs are fine, man. Dogs are hardcore. I mean, you shouldn't. You gotta provide them some place to go so they don't freeze to death. But if a fucking dog has access to shelter and food, and some place to run, they're happy. That's how dog. Where did I go? You talked about Americans and just the West in general with postmodernism before. Can you elaborate on this? Possibly it could be a topic for a separate video. Did I ever say postmodernism on here before? I don't know. I mean, I consider postmodern to be ironic and sort of apathetic, and that is the West and Americans in general. Maybe I will make that a topic for a different video. What did you do to lose weight besides drinking pop, or besides not drinking pop? I don't know, that, and I've been working more, and I don't know, just doing stuff. I felt so much better once I stopped fucking drinking the pop. It sickens me because all my friends were like, "It killed you," and I was like, "I know." But yeah, it's bad for you. What job do you do? I cook at it's like a restaurant / sandwich shop kind of thing. What do you think about Ryan, aka Confederate Socialist, aka Fringe Elements, personally, and his ideas? I think that he's a little crazy. I think that he's a hypocrite, and I think that he is fucking, he's a white supremacist. He's a totalitarian. He's a smart guy. He amuses me. That's about it. Should the U.S. become more free market? Yeah, sure, man. I'm open to all the freedom of the market. Freedom is good for us. Yay, freedom. Is U.S. debt to China becoming problematic? Well, yes. I didn't mean to imply that it wasn't a bad thing that they have, that they own a lot of our debt. Of course, it's becoming problematic. We need to work on improving our economy, and when we do that, those things will kind of disappear. What should the EU do when debt is rising at the speed of light? Not be the EU. That's pretty much the only hope that productive countries like France and Germany and them even have of coming out of this well, is to not be the EU, because they just can't afford to limp along Spain and Greece and maybe Italy. Not be the EU. Do you believe in absolute right and wrong? Yeah, in some ways. I can't envision any reason how it could ever be right to rape somebody or something like that. But some things are more ambiguous. Sometimes you got to kill a guy. Sometimes you take things for certain reasons. I mean, a lot of things are always wrong. You just have to find a way to justify it. Is racism, sexism worse than other forms of discrimination? No. I mean, I don't know. Is it more rampant overall? Probably. But I think that there's less racism and less sexism than you would think, or that it is oftentimes the opposite of what you would think it would be. When did you decide to resurrect like Jesus and make YouTube videos again? I decided, like, I just got busy, and I decided like 2 months ago to do it, and my fucking camera was broken, and I was like, oh. So I had to wait to get fucking extra money. Glad you're back, you douche. Thank you, bro. That was pretty polite. Whatever happened to the video series you once talked about making involving interviews with various religious leaders? Yeah, they don't want to be on camera. Who knew? They just won't do it. You've talked about how people don't vote. You talk about how people who don't vote are largely to blame for the bad political situation and how people should be encouraged to vote. But isn't this the wrong approach? Since the majority of Americans are rather uninformed, wouldn't this negatively affect the situation? Shouldn't people instead be encouraged not to vote if they aren't thoroughly informed? They're still going to complain. Pretty much what I'm offering you is the only solution you have to, to get you to shut the fuck up. Not you, but I mean people in general. When they complain about how, this is not going the way I like it, well, you didn't fucking vote. Everybody has opinions, and whether or not they have the right to fucking vote, go for it. Do whatever the hell you want, but you got to participate. And through participating, you will become more informed, you see. If you don't plan on voting, why the fuck would you go look up a guy or find out what his positions are or whatever? How do you interpret the Second Amendment, and do you personally believe gun control should be out of the question in the U.S.? I interpret the Second Amendment the way it is written, which is that the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And it has been upheld recently, I think in 2008, in Washington, D.C. on the gun ban, or not upheld, but it was they hadn't really fucking declared something unconstitutional based on the Second Amendment before. And it was, I think it was a court of appeals for Washington, but this judge determined that, it really did mean that you're allowed to keep, everybody's allowed to have guns. Because, some people argue, well, it's about a militia, you're allowed to have a militia or whatever. Well, the militia was intended to be any male between 16 and 60, which is almost everyone anyway. And they tried to, people tried to argue, well, when they said a right to keep arms, that was a musket. How can they apply that to now when we have handguns or whatever? Well, see, the people that made the Constitution were pretty smart, and they understood that guns and things were going to change over time. So, they never meant it just to be musket or whatever kind of shit. Should gun control be out of the question? I mean, do people need rocket launchers? Probably not. But pretty much everything else you can get to a certain extent. I think any place straight up banning you from having a handgun or something like that is ridiculous. I think a lot of the bans on assault rifles are ridiculous as well. But there has to be some gun control. I mean, there has to be a way of knowing, who owns guns, so you can find them when somebody does something bad or when it's stolen or some shit like that. So you have to have some gun regulations. How did the definition of liberal change so drastically? I don't think it did, bro. Are you still in college? If not, what do you do for money? Well, I'm not in college right now because I don't have any money and I work for money. I didn't finish college. So I don't know if it was worth it to me. It has to be done. I know it's late in the game, but what are your thoughts on the Arizona shooting? While respecting the Second Amendment, how do we keep guns out of the hands of fucking crazy people? Also give us your thoughts on that stupid bitch Palin and the idiotic shit she's been saying the last couple of days. Thanks, and it's great to see you back. I'm not even going to talk about Palin because she's fucking retarded. I don't even... I'm just trying to pretend that she doesn't exist. I can't find a way to take her seriously. How do we keep guns out of the hands of fucking crazy people? Well, people who are really crazy usually will have some sort of run-in with the police. They'll be involuntarily committed at some point. It gets on record that you're crazy, and they need to find a better way to fucking single out these people and be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't have a gun right now. If you still have all the fat you lost, will you put it in a bag and mail it to me? I don't, but maybe I would have. What do you think about determinism? I don't even know what that term means, so just saying. You briefly mentioned your hatred towards baby boomers. Why do you hate them? Is it just because you don't like hippies? It's partially because I don't like hippies. I mean, I don't hate the people, I guess. I mean, my mom is a baby boomer, but overall, they've been one of the more useless generations, and they pretty much fucked us. They created a lot of the things that irritate me most. Political correctness and the like was a creation of those people. What happened that delayed you from making videos so long? My friends moved in here, and I fucking got distracted, and I don't know. What harder drugs have you done besides marijuana? What's your opinion on such drugs? I've taken some pills before, but shouldn't do hard drugs are bad for you. Whether or not they should be illegal is a separate question, but you shouldn't do them. Nothing good ever comes of doing meth or crack or even cocaine, even though people will disagree very strongly on that you can just do a little bit of cocaine. I still just don't fucking think anything good has ever come of that. In your opinion, how well has Obama fulfilled his duty as president? Does he deserve to get another 4 years in the 2012 elections? Excuse me. I don't know if he deserves... I'm going to wait past judgment on whether or not he deserves to be elected. But I'm telling you what, if they're really seriously thinking about running Palin in any way, I don't really see how I'll have a choice to vote for anybody but the person who is not Palin. I think Obama has done pretty much what I thought he would do, which was put a better face on things with some people for a while, and spend a lot of money, and pretty much that's about it. Though he does, I don't know. He's a fairly weak president, in my opinion, so far. What do you think of neoconservatism? I think that that definition has changed so much that I don't even know what it would mean if I were to say it right now. What do you think of the Unabomber Manifesto? I don't know anything about that. I know who the Unabomber is, don't know anything about his manifesto. What are your thoughts about the recent closure and extermination? That's a pretty serious word. Of the 2 largest porn torrent sites in the world due to the porn industry's lobbying. Where does one get porn now? All is lost. There is so much porn, it's not even any sort of a problem to find more pornography. If you are not finding enough pornography, then you're just doing something wrong. What did you think of what Putin said in your favorites? He's referring to a video I favorited with Putin answering some question from a French journalist about uprisings in Chechnya, the war in Chechnya, in which Putin pretty much said that he was going to fucking castrate the dude. He was talking about circumcision, but I think he was being a little bit more hardcore than that. I favorited it because I just thought it was so outrageous, but also it's a good example of the kind of person that you're dealing with in Putin. Putin is a very, very powerful man and a very dangerous man. They keep saying that China is the second most powerful country in the world now, but I still disagree. I think Russia is still the second most powerful country in the world right now because they have a very capable, at least on a world stand, they have a capable military, and they've shown that they're able and willing to use it to resolve disputes with its neighbors, and that we can't stop them, or that we won't, like in Georgia. I think Russia is the second most powerful country in the world. I think it's potentially more dangerous than China. This new subscriptions layout thing sucks. Fuck YouTube. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. Ever read Howard Zinn's A People's History of America? And if you did, what did you think of it? No, I haven't. But, no. I've heard things about it, but I can't talk about it just off the shit that I've heard. Can you recommend some good nonfiction books for me, please? I feel I want to educate myself. I'm interested in things like philosophy, history, and the sciences in general. I recommend anything by Victor Davis Hanson for history. It's a great success. I don't read a lot of science type books. I think everybody should read Mein Kampf just because. Nonfiction. One of my favorite history books has always been The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, which is great shit on that. That's some ideas for you. What's your favorite alcoholic beverage? Tequila, I guess. Mixed with something, preferably. I like tequila and ginger ale. Don't care if you think I'm gay. Fuck you. Tequila and ginger ale. Heard in one of your videos that you play bass. What kind of bass do you own? I have just a Fender Squier modified jazz bass is what it's called. What do you think about downloading music for free off the internet illegally? Are you aware that Death's SS Head is now again on YouTube under the name Coughlin777? I thought he always was under the name Coughlin777. I don't give a shit about that kid. I try to talk some sense, and motherfuckers don't listen, so what can you do? How much of what you said in all your videos would you take back? I wouldn't take back any of it. I've said some things that I've changed my opinions on, or I might have said differently, but, I meant most of the things when I said them. I don't regret things like that too much. Can you recognize my name when I post comments? Yes. Can you explain your YouTube channel background? What is it supposed to mean? I mean, honestly, why Joseph Goebbels is on there? First of all, because I think it's hilarious, and I love Joseph Goebbels. He's awesome. He's a crazy propaganda guy, and he was just fucked up. You got to watch this thing about. There's this documentary film on Goebbels' diaries or his personal journals. It's just crazy shit. Crazy shit. Last question is, how corrupt is the U.S. government? I don't know. No more corrupt than any other government. I often want to have discussions with you. Do you accept video responses? I do, but I just don't give very many. I don't accept things that are not, are totally random things. Sometimes people just try to advertise their shit. So I don't accept that, but I accept fucking video responses. I'm just not very good on dealing with people on YouTube. I don't know. As you've seen, I just don't do it that much. We know you're for the legalization of drugs, but are you for smoking as weed as a positive thing? I don't think it's a positive or a negative. It's a thing. It's less destructive than other drugs. Is it a positive thing? I don't know. It's a thing. You can't look at drug use as something like that. And you have to accept it for what it is. It's a drug. It's an incredibly safe drug compared to the others. And it's pretty sweet, but positive, I don't know. Do you lie on YouTube? Is your personality the same on YouTube as it is in real life? Yes, I guess. I don't know. Ask my friends. Yes, I'm not. I don't make up opinions, and this is how I talk. So no. Uh, so no, and then yes. You talk about your current education status and you're planning for a degree. I need money first. I'd love to go and do history all the way up, get a doctorate or something, but we have to see how it goes. My current education status is self-educated. Thank you very much. Were you ever going to open up a professional smoke shop like you said in one of your videos a long time ago? It would be kind of cool, but another one of those things teenagers make up. Finally, who is your favorite character from Sonic the Hedgehog? I've never played Sonic the Hedgehog, ever. Never had a Sega. Didn't really know anybody that had a Sega. Just saying. Do you think that Obama pushing away Don't Ask, Don't Tell will create serious internal conflict within the military? Pushing Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I don't think so, because military people do what they're told and they'll adjust. Um, you know, they're not going to let people act differently. You're not going to get different treatment if you're gay, or you're not going to be, and if people, nobody in the military is like going to be like all of a sudden like, oh, hey fellas, and start hitting on the guys. It's just not going to fucking happen, because people like that wouldn't make it within the military, and that's just not really what gay people do anyway. They're not all that scary. In fact, sometimes you don't even know who they are. People say Obama is not a Muslim, but how about him bowing down to a Saudi prince? I don't know what that would have to do with being a Muslim. I think he was probably bowing to the Saudi prince because that's what you do when you see a prince, man, I guess. I mean, he wasn't there on a day trip. He was there to see the fucking prince of one of our most important allies, for better or worse. One of your videos, you talked about your house having fucked up shit like spaces and walls and doors that only lock from the outside. Can you talk some more about your house? I don't know, that's pretty much it. It's just a basic ranch house. There's a million of them. It's just whoever lived here did some really fucked up additions to this house. It's all, I don't know. What do you plan to do about your smoking? Wait, continue to not eat like a piece of shit, and then, I don't know about the smoking, man. I can't even answer that question. What do you think of TJ slowly becoming a full-blown liberal and sucking up to YouTube just for more money? Do you miss the old TJ? I don't know. I think if it gets some views, that's what he's going to do, because TJ is an entertainer, in his mind at least, or on YouTube. That's his thing that he does, and he does a good job of it, or he wouldn't have all those subscribers. And if people want to see him saying certain things, that's what he's going to do. Do you know W.E.B. Griffin? Do you like his books? No, I do not know him. I am reading Mein Kampf. What is your favorite part? I like the parts that I talked about on the propaganda. You know, there's interesting things, perspectives, about the revolution in 1918, or as Hitler refers to it, the November crime. Um, that shit's very interesting. The whole book is pretty fucking interesting in general. How could it not be? Do you plan to stay on YouTube forever? God. How much of your ideology has changed since your first video? I don't know. I've just come to more understand. I've learned more. You learn more shit. I've come to get more sophisticated in my ideas. I think more nuanced. Understanding more details is part of the learning process. And I don't think I've drastically changed on anything, but I've certainly added more things. I would like to hear your opinion on the Japanese anime Sailor Moon, as I am a really big fan of this show. Um, I don't know, it was a show that was on fucking TV. The anime show. It was a shitty old anime show. I don't know. Don't know if I ever saw a full episode of it. What is your opinion on the proposed EDL, English Defence League, through the town in Luton in England? If you do not know who the EDL is, please do a little bit of research, as I would like to hear an American's perspective on this issue, considering I live in London. You know, there's going to be far-right, slightly militant groups in every country. You know, I find, you know, are these people militant? I don't really understand a lot about it. You know, maybe I'll touch on it in another video, because frankly, I'm interested that somebody is interested to hear an American's opinion on something. So maybe I'll do that shit. What do you think of America being so fearful? Is this going to be the fall of America? I don't think it'll be the fall of America, but it's certainly an inconvenience. You know, people should be, you know, aware of things. Do you have to be afraid of terrorists? No, or something like that. But should you be aware of the threat or something? Yes. You know. Did you go through dark times in high school like The Amazing Atheist? Not really. I did all right in high school, man. I mean, it was better, a lot better actually, with my peers in high school. People didn't fuck with me really, and got along with people. I didn't really have any problems. What was your worst subject in school? Math. Definitely math. Mostly because I would always read in class, and you can't. Some people can, but I can't learn math unless I fucking hear every single little detail of how to do the thing, and I can't figure that shit out on my own. Just can't do it. I can remember all this shit that I read, but I cannot fucking do math. What was your worst subject in school? Oh, I already read that. God damn it! It's 4:30 in the morning. How many years do humans have left? I don't know. A lot, I would hope. Humans are not all going to go away, even if some calamity went down. That would be ridiculous. Unless some fucking asteroid comes out and kills everything on the planet all at once. I know you're in or have been in college. You think going to college is worth it. Well, with kids going into hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt to learn a career that won't be in high demand by the time they get out. Well, that's kind of, a lot of that is on them. I mean, you choose your major. College is worth it because it's necessary. I think higher education is a good idea, but I think that the tuition is too high. I think there's probably a lot of shit that they waste time on. But you got to do what you got to do. And if you want that really good job, or you want to do a specific thing, you got to get that piece of paper in your hands. There's no other way around it. You know, I can't go be a professor and just say I know a lot about history, you guys. You should let me be a professor. What is your opinion on the space program, particularly the fact that after the shuttle program is retired this year, the U.S. will have to rely on Russian launches to get to orbit? I think it's a great way to further the glorious and harmonious relationship between these United States and the Russian Republic. No, but seriously, you know, the space program I feel is incredibly important. Where else are we supposed to go from here? I think all the money spent on the space program is worth it just to say that we did it. And that doesn't sound like a very good reason, but I don't give a fuck, okay? I think that saying, hey, we sent a fucking robot to Mars is pretty awesome. And it's not like if they had had that money, they would have cured cancer by now or anything. So I fully support all of the space program. Do whatever the fuck you want. I fully support it. Do you know what handball is? No. Have you read any good books lately? I actually fucking read, I'm reading, I got halfway through Bush's book, and then I stopped. Not because I didn't enjoy it, but I just got sidetracked. but I thought it was really interesting. I hate Bush less. I never really hated him, but I have a slightly different opinion on him now, having read the book. You know, I don't agree with him on things I disagreed with him on before, but just you know, a little bit more understanding. Have you changed your room, or have you and your family moved to another house? No, I'm just the room you saw me in before is right over there. This is my room. That was a computer room. My two friends live here now. My mom lives with her new husband. That's what's going on with that. Second question is, will your new camera blend? I'm sure it would. Everything blends, except a blender. Magnets, how do they work? It's miracles. Like I said to the other guy. What do you think about the failure of Prop 19 in California? Well, I'm not surprised. I would be, you know, I kind of want to just go to California, find anybody who smokes weed, and if they didn't vote, you just beat the shit out of them. What do you think about age difference in relationships? Is it okay for an 18-year-old girl to be with a 14-year-old guy? Does it make a difference if the guy is 18 and the girl is 14? I don't know. It's probably too different. I mean, I don't know, man. People are not going to like it. But what do you know as a 14-year-old? I mean, I didn't know shit. I mean, do you know that much more at 18? No, but it's certainly different. You know. What's your opinions on WikiLeaks and Bradley Manning? Is Bradley Manning the soldier that leaked this shit? Because if so, he's in a lot of trouble. I thought the WikiLeaks, you know, I don't support the theft of fucking secret information, but I have to confess that I found them interesting. Though there was nothing really that earth-shaking, or like people expected to find out that we got like aliens, you know, running the country or some shit. I mean, a lot of it was pretty basic shit. I mean, when I read the Iraq leaks, you know, people were talking about, oh, it reveals all these war crimes, or, you know, all these civilian deaths or whatever. But I read the reports. I mean, it was revealing that the militias were killing a lot of innocent people, but I didn't really see all this shit about us being horrible people. I don't know. And the other thing that I think is awesome is that everyone was like, yeah, fuck America and their secrets. And then when that asshole leaked all the other countries' fucking, you know, confidential diplomatic cables, they're all like, oh, you're an asshole. You know, you don't need... Some things you just can't let everybody know. You can't... You couldn't have relationships with everybody on the planet if they knew everything about you, or everything you thought, or everything that you talked about. And you know that I'm fucking right. Do you use Stickam? So, would you consider attending YouTube user Amendum's late night Saturday Stickam room and possibly contributing? I've been to Amendum's Stickam a couple times. I got in there once and I couldn't get a word in edgewise, and when I did, I was just kind of ignored, and I don't know. They don't really know me. Amendum doesn't know who I am, I don't think. What is the worst way you can think of to die without Anna or something? Can you let us know in any way where you've been and what you've been up to? Yeah, I've already answered that one. Do you think deregulating the economy will allow the economy to recover? Needs to be deregulated, and I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't think that the economy will recover until people fucking start making things here again. Whatever has to be done to make us make shit, then we'll be okay. We have to make things. Alright? You know, I wish that there was a way that we could fucking force companies to not outsource their jobs. That would be a, you know, a huge restriction on their economic freedom, but I don't know. I sway from side to side on this. How would you revise the federal income tax? I think the best way to go about tax reform is to go about spending reform, and then we find out if we really actually have to collect all those taxes. So I think a lot of money is wasted on shit that we don't need, or spent in irresponsible ways. I think that's the first step to addressing taxes. Because if it can be shown that the only way that the government can make enough money to do its essential duties is to have an income tax, then I don't really see a problem with having an income tax. But I think that we're wasting a lot of money. Have you heard the album Harmony and Ultraviolet by Tim Heckler? No, I don't. No. I'm going to mention you in my new vid. Alright then. What historical event do you think either is or will turn out to be more important, the French Revolution or the Russian Revolution? It's an interesting question because they're revolutions for two different purposes, or they're different in the following ways. The French Revolution was a nationalistic revolution against a monarch. The Russian Revolution was a revolution against a monarch as well, but it was driven by a multinational movement. Communism, Marxism was like it was a workers' revolution kind of thing. They both ended in very similar ways, with tyrants in control, with Napoleon and with your Lenins and your Stalins and all that shit on the Russian side. I think the Russian is more important because it is been a catalyst for a lot of events that have happened in this century. I think the French Revolution is made less important because of the American Revolution, the fact that that one was successful in that we created a democracy, and the French unfortunately failed at that. So my final answer is the Russian Revolution is more important to history. Can you poop in heaven? I don't know. What first rule of Fight Club is what again? You don't talk about something. Do you fear the moon Jews? I fear all Jews. Can you tell I was high when I thought these up? I don't know, you could have just been weird. Did you notice I skipped D? Oh, see, I didn't read the... Can you tell that I'm tired? That's me. The last one, who would win in a fight, Vampire Andrew Jackson or Werewolf Henry Clay? I gotta go with Old Hickory on that one, man. That's how it's going. Do you no longer live with your mom? I wasn't even really... She was mostly living with her now husband before anyway, but no, she does not live here anymore. Excuse me. Do you think China will become a larger global power than the U.S.? If so, when does that even matter? Or does this even matter? Well, it matters, and no, I don't think they will. Because they're fucked up. Totalitarian regimes were not meant to be successful. It just doesn't work out. I know you're an atheist, but do you celebrate Christmas? I go with my family. I go to my family's Christmas thing. Did you receive any cool presents? I gave 4 presents to 2 people. One was my mom, and one was a special person. I limit my gifts. And I received, I don't know, my grandparents gave me some money. That's pretty much it. Oh, and the best girl in the world gave me Triumph of the Will on DVD. I believe they make that shit. It's fucking awesome. She's pretty cool. But, she watches these videos, but she wouldn't go in this long. Do you pop pills? No, sir. Taken them before, but I don't. Optimos or Swishavs? I like Blummerhems. How corrupt do you think the U.S. government is? I kind of already answered that question. Who is the guy in your background picture on your channel page with bitch? That's Goebbels. We already got that one. Joseph Goebbels. I asked you a while ago what your favorite Pokemon was. He said Pidgeot. Fuck that. Pidgeot sucks. Pick again. Pidgeot, bro. Fuck you. I got Pidgeot is the best. All right. How much do you know about the coalition government in the UK? What do you think of it? I don't know a lot about the politics in the UK. I don't really want to comment on it too much. When will World War III happen? Could be soon. Do you think Obama will get reelected, or will there be a new face in the White House? Your guess on who it might be? I think it's too early to guess on that. Democrats are going to vote for him again. People that were hardcore on him are probably going to vote for him again, so it's very possible that he'll get reelected. But probably not by as... If he gets reelected, it will definitely not be by as much that he got elected in the first place. Why do you figure there has been such a backlash against the TSA's latest scanner? I get the amusing impression that the outrage would be less if there were a more penetrating scan like an X-ray or MRI. What is it about the epidermis that is so much more threatening to have revealed? You know, the thing about these scanners, I've never been through one or seen one. I don't go to the airport. I don't fly. The whole thing about security is that it's all kind of ridiculous at a certain point. Do they need to fucking make my 85-year-old grandmother take off her fucking shoes? No. Okay, that's retarded. All right, that's just... It's never going to fucking happen, okay? The chances are so minimal that just to do something like that is fucking stupid. And, we can all be honest with ourselves and know that most people don't need to be searched. What I would like to see is some sort of documentation to prove that these scanners are more effective than the other ways of doing it. Some people aren't really bothered by them. I think that I need to see them myself to form a real opinion on that. What do you think is going to happen on 2012? Absolutely jack shit. Yeah, no, the date doesn't mean anything. It's retarded. It just doesn't mean anything. The only thing that it means is supposedly that it's the end of one of the Mayan calendar periods, but this doesn't have any fucking random dates made up by people on Earth. Doesn't have anything to do with what the universe does. Right? The universe is not on our time schedule. The beginning of their periods or their time, whatever, are completely fucking arbitrary based on when they came up with it. Do you think TJ the Amazing Atheist is not as good as he used to be? That's pretty much the same fucking question. Have you seen the new Wall Street movie? No, I have not. Do you think we might be facing a new 1929 style crash? No, only because we have... How do we go about? No, because there's insurance, pretty much, on things like that. There's insurance on people's deposits, and everyone's money can't just disappear. I mean, investments can disappear, so that kind of shit happens. A lot of people lost a lot of money on 401ks and stuff like that, but as far as, like, people's bank accounts won't just crash in the way that it happened back then. What are your views on psychiatry? Do you believe forced hospitalization, not to mention forced drugging for such patients, is just even when they have not been violent towards anyone else? I mean, I don't know which patients you're talking about. Some people, people are crazy sometimes. It's an illness, and sometimes you have to take measures to deal with that in the interest of public safety and their safety. Some people are fucking crazy. It's just something you got to deal with. I want to get your opinion on the 8.5-hour speech that Bernie Sanders gave. I'm surprised he was able to stand up that long. Talk. Was he standing the whole time? I don't remember. He talked for a while, though. Long time. If you ran the USA, what would you do to improve the whole world, and how would you define improvement? I would define improvement for the, whatever is in the best interest of the United States. If I'm in charge of the United States, what would I do? Uh, I would fucking exert our military power where it has to be, and not get involved in shit where we don't have to, and quit being such pussies. Because, people think we're bully, but we're actually little bitches. Stop. When Iran does some shit that they shouldn't fucking do, they shouldn't be able to just go, hey, fuck you, and we just say, oh, okay. I think that we need to improve relations with countries that are like us. So we need to focus on, improving our relations, with the UK or Australia or Canada, Europe. Those are some of the things that I would do. I would put money towards, more renewable energy and shit. Not even on the whole global warming thing, but it would just be a benefit to make us not in any way dependent on, other countries for our energy needs. I think that that's one of the ways in which we're strangled. What is your opinion of music and art and their function in society? Do you think they're as important as more practical and necessary aspects of society? I think they're important because music and art have been there since the beginning of society, so clearly they serve some purpose. It's another way of transferring knowledge and information, ideas, and there's nothing wrong with something that makes people happy. I got no problem with music and art. I think that it is necessary. What the hell would people... It wouldn't be any flair without art. It wouldn't be innovation. What is your opinion on the state of democracy and freedom in the current Russian Federation? In politics, society, you think Putin is a badass? I already talked about Putin. He's a pretty hardcore dude. I don't know what the fuck the state of democracy is in Russia. Do Russians know what the state of democracy is in Russia? I don't think that they really know what end is what. I really feel sorry for them that it didn't fucking go any better. I think that if they continue to allow lawlessness to run rampant, then they're never going to get any better. Democracy and the rule of law, the modern democracy is a nation founded on rule of law, and a country like that cannot function if lawlessness is allowed. If people can run rampant and do crazy shit, they need to get their shit under control. Another one that I have answered before. What's your favorite film and book for that matter? I've said before, I don't know, I'm stuck between a couple things. I like To Kill a Mockingbird. I like Spaceballs for the comedy. I like a lot of shit. I don't know. I'll probably Kill a Mockingbird is one of my favorite movies. Favorite book? I don't know. I like all the stuff I read by Hansen. I like the Turtle Dove series, even though the shits can be kind of shitty sometimes, but I enjoyed the whole thing. I don't know. Is the U.S. media liberal? Yes. At least most of it. Do you got some favorite song or band you like to drink to and get fucked up? I like all the metal. Give it to me. Give me Black Dahlia Murder. Give me Despised Icon. Some people think that it's shit, but give me Chelsea Grin. I agree with it. I support it. I fully endorse it. And I got one more question. Where the fuck is that shit? So last question. Do you agree or disagree that you cannot commit an act without making the conscious decision to do so? In other words, are all actions in a person's life a result of conscious goals, Or do you feel that people sometimes commit various acts in lieu of a clear-cut agenda? Remove from the equation those people who, due to a mental deficiency or sickness, are unable to control their rational decision-making processes, i.e. the president and other like-grouped deficients. This is my brother's question. His humor shines through. We are a powerful breed. Half-brother. All right, then do you, I think that some decisions, a lot of things that people do are just based on us being people. We're hardwired to do certain things, and we're still animals. And, I think that understanding that is important. Whether you want to blame it on God or nature, people do things just because they're people. But, I think most acts are consciously made. People decide to do it. But I think a lot of people are too stupid to have any kind of agenda. I think that some people just do random shit. They don't even know what the fuck they're doing. So that's it. That's the end of the questions. Holy shit. So if it doesn't post this whole video, I'm going to fucking kill myself. So I'll talk to you folks